You are now entering the box. Whoa, we are back. I fell off here for a little bit, I have to admit. I had a goal of doing this every week this year, and the last few weeks have just been crazy. But I'm here today, back at it again, with the Deb Sarsany real estate team. Welcome, Deb. And
thank you.
Team. Never had this many people in here, so we got a little new situation going on. We're going to need more microphones. If everyone wants to introduce themselves, though.
Sure. Deb Sarsany with the real estate group.
Sarah Disney.
Kim Elliott.
Go ahead. You guys can yell back there. Who we got next?
Andy Banis. Ashley May. Amber Wright. Jamie Holt. Kara Smith.
So we got a full crew in here.
Yeah. What are you gonna do with all the
women?
women?
If you need to sell something, this is I guess the crew to do it here. We got a full squad.
Right. We do.
All right, so real estate. Deb here just actually helped me with the new building next door.
I know.
Which was an interesting situation there.
It was, but we got through it.
Yeah. Dealing with a national company, some new headaches, but everything worked out. So appreciate that. I'm excited to get in there. I guess let's just start out. Let's just start with you. How did you get into real estate? Like, how long you been doing this, and how did you get into it?
Wow, I've been doing this over 20 plus years, and I started in little old Topeka, Kansas.
Topeka.
Yeah, with a mom and pop company called Kirk and Cobb, and it was just, I was a young mother and needed something to do, and I had a realtor friend who just kept telling me, I think you'd be really good at this, you should give it a try. So I fell into that in that direction, and then we moved a lot with it, and so I also worked at Ebby Halliday in
Were you moving
Dallas.
with your job, or
no, with my husband?
Okay.
Yeah, he would get 2 to 3 year gigs here and there, so that's why it was also hard to kind of put down roots and to build a business for me.
Yeah.
But I did what I could, and then we went to Dallas and then to St. Louis, and I kind of laid off a little bit until my kids got to an age where I could trust them at home by themselves, and because my husband traveled so much, and then came to Springfield and decided it was time to go all in.
Yeah. Jeez, all over the place. Yeah, I mean, definitely in real estate, I feel like you got to build up your clientele and build up your referrals.
Exactly.
And jumping around probably was tough to get going. How about you?
I got into real estate about 8-9 years ago, and kind of the same circumstance. Someone who owned a real estate company here in town, PPS Realty, Prairie Property Solutions. That was MT Van, and she had told me, hey, have you ever thought about going into real estate? And the best move I ever made.
Nice.
Absolutely something that you love, and if you love what you do, it's really not work.
Yeah, I'll attest to that. Although some days it feels a little more like work these days, but for me. How about you?
Okay, my story's a little bit different. 23 years ago, we were selling our house by owner, and I wanted to know how to do it.
Yeah.
And I wasn't going to hire any stinking realtors. I knew how to do everything. So I took the class, and guess what I learned? Nothing. I did not learn how to sell a house, but I went ahead and I took the final exams and all of that stuff, and I passed, and I got my license, and I was interviewing with Julie Davis when Julie Davis had her shop here, and was walking out, and a friend of mine from high school was walking in, and he's like, if you're going to get into real estate, you're going to come to work with me. So I started working at RE/MAX on kind of a part-time basis, because I was actually working for my father at the time, going to take over his company, and never thought I was going to do it full-time, but I actually loved it way more than working for my dad.
Yeah.
So yeah, family business. So anyway, I was at RE/MAX for 15 years, and then popped over to the real estate group, was there for a couple of years, and then joined forces with Deb, and the rest is history.
I feel like it seems like there used to be a lot more like real estate companies, and they've really in the last few years kind of narrowed down to like RE/MAX, Real Estate Group, you know what I mean? Then Keller Williams. I feel like you don't really see many other ones besides that these days.
Yeah, it's a tough business, and you have to have the right mix of people to run those offices and make those agents feel very secure and happy,
Yeah.
because it is a business that it's easy to hop from one office to the other, because one office is constantly always trying to offer you something better to come. So when you find that right fit, then you stay.
Yeah, and it seems like the real estate group has definitely had a lot of stayed on top of like technology and stuff, I guess you could say. You know, because I know like there's stuff that like sends out texts or like those alert programs when you just plug in what you're looking for and all that type of stuff. How does that, is that stuff that they just implement, or do you?
Well, the real estate group is is definitely a different office in Springfield. We are not a franchise. So
Yeah.
Keller Williams, Century 21, Remax, they are all franchise offices that
okay.
follow kind of the franchise rules and guidelines. The real estate group is owned by brokers who sell for the real estate group. So we currently have about 33 partner shareholders in the company.
Okay.
So because of that, we also take a really good vested interest in people who join us and come on. So we can kind of set our own rules as far as education and what we want to do, and we do see that need, and we do try to meet that.
Okay. Have you guys ever figured out like what your combined years of experience is here?
We did at one time, weren't we 28 plus or something?
Oh, we're way more.
Yeah.
than that.
Way
That's
more
you
than
and
that.
me.
Yeah.
That's you and
Yeah.
me alone, Deb.
Yeah.
Everybody else?
Because you said you were 20 by yourself.
Right. Oh, you mean adding all
I mean
of them?
total
together?
years
Oh,
of
gosh.
experience.
Yeah, Kim and I alone are probably
50.
40 or 50.
I'm 23.
Been in the
yeah,
game.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, how when did you start like bring on like a first team? How does the team thing even work in real estate? I guess I don't even know how that.
Well, I mean, everyone I think has their own reasons for joining a team, so you might get some better feedback from some of the team members that we have here. But personally, when I came to the real estate group, my intention was not to start the team, but I had a couple people who approached me and said,
Wanna work with
hey,
you."
we're struggling. We need a little bit of help. The team is a great place to come in and start and learn and get your feet wet. But it's also more for us as a team. We're all friends. We all relate so well to each other on a personal relationship, a business relationship.
I can imagine having each other at least lets you guys maybe take a little vacation every
Absolutely,
once in a while.
yeah.
Instead of
Yeah, that's a big part of it. But the team concept has really grown. I would say, what do you think, lady? Last 10 years?
5 years, I'd say.
Yeah.
Really, it's taken off.
Yeah.
When I first joined a team, they were unheard of. I was a buyer's agent, and that was not even heard of
Yeah.
at the time, in Springfield at least. And so that was very interesting how it evolved over time, but I was one of the pioneers of that too.
Yeah.
So kind of crazy. But for me personally, it was, besides the camaraderie of it, it's the admin. Because if you're doing this on your own, the paperwork
So you guys can like split costs of
crazy.
like in general admin job or something. Is that
Well,
what you mean? Or?
the team member, that's the part of being the team, is I take on the cost of that
Yeah.
for the team, and then we reconcile in
Right.
different ways. So that works. Actually, Sarah is the head admin
Oh,
for
okay.
this
I'm
entire
the one
team.
you
There
sent the
you go.
emails to.
Nice.
We
Yeah.
we could not do it without her.
Yeah. So it's kind of like almost like it's kind of like almost like a real estate company within a real estate company. In a
Exactly.
way,
Yeah, definitely.
That's interesting. Yeah. Yeah, because like you said, they're just more recently around. But my dad was in real estate for a long time. He worked for Diamond Shamrock down in Texas, and but he would when they hired a new employee, he would work with them to sell their home wherever they lived, and then I think that the company would buy the home from the employee they were hiring.
Relo.
Yeah, and then he would sell it for the company, and I think he would help them also get a home like in the new area or something. I think that was when he was with Diamond Shamrock he did that. But yeah, it was kind of a weird thing. So he always had it was always kind of interesting hearing some of his stories, real estate stories.
Well, we do that too. So each of Horseman, the hospitals here in Springfield also have relocation agents that they work with, and Jamie works very close with people from Springfield Clinic. I've worked a lot with Horseman. We have Kim. I think you've worked with some relocation for the railroad,
I've worked
even.
with the railroad.
So yeah. So there are that. It's not like it's a specialty, but it's something that you know a lot about, and you're able to do that, because that's like a whole different animal as well, with different rules and things that you have to know when you do relocation.
A lot more paperwork.
Yeah, definitely.
Because also, like, I mean, I'm pretty sure about this, but your license is good in Illinois, right? You have to get licensed in any state you want to actually work in. Okay. What's the process like these days? I mean, you got to do recurring education, right? Don't they have like recurring hours and stuff like that?
We do.
Continuing ed.
You know who needs to talk about the whole process? That's Kara. Kara is our newest member. She just got done doing it. Come on over, Kara. Take over for me.
Actually, Kara just got her first deal this week. Yeah.
Her first deal. That'd be exciting.
And she's a newbie who just went through the entire process of getting her license and coming on.
How? What was your lead here to get into the real estate game?
I actually worked with Deb selling a lot of my houses, and I felt like she was kind of like she made the process so smooth, and she's kind of, I say, the Secrets resort of real estate, which is a luxury resort, and they take care of every little detail.
There you go.
So, yep. So I wanted to learn from the best, and these group of women are
a lot of people
the
to
top
learn
dogs.
from here.
Yep.
Yeah. So how was the process for you? Was it hard, or is it?
I actually did it going into the pandemic, so I had plenty of time to do it. It was a little difficult, but I had them helping me.
Backing you up.
Yep, backing me up, supporting me, cheering me on.
Has it, I assume the whole, like, we're talking about the team situation. I assume having that team being new to the game has been a big help.
Yes, they do send messages at like 6 o'clock in the morning, and I'm getting used to that right now, to about midnight. So I'm getting used to that whole thing.
I know with our customers, I'm like, so I kind of treat text messaging like email. So if it's ever bothering you, just let me know.
We do. We kind of bombarded poor Kara at the beginning, but we have, like I said, we're not only just business partners, we're also friends. So it may not have anything to do with business. It could have a subject you probably don't want to discuss on here, but it could be. But I'm going to jump off too and let Andy come on, because Andy was kind of anti-team when she came to us, and I think she's had a whole new spectrum on how the team things work. So I'm going to let her jump on.
Let's do it. They'll swap out here. This is interesting.
A first time for everything.
Yeah.
It's teamwork. Makes the dream work.
Hi.
So how long have you been in real estate?
Just over 2 years.
Okay.
I started out on my own in a new city, in a new career, because I'm not from Springfield.
Oh, okay.
So
where are you from?
Well, all over.
Oh,
I recently came from Germany.
Oh, wow.
But grew up in Granite City.
Nice.
Lived in Logan County for a long time.
Okay.
But my husband lived here forever, and that's why we chose to come here and put down roots, retired military. And then he got sent back overseas.
Oh,
so
geez.
I was here on my own 100%.
tough.
So it was an interesting first start. How do I say this delicately? I didn't want to be on a team. I wanted to put myself out there. I wanted to do this on my own. I had this thing I wanted to accomplish on my own. And Deb approached me, and out of respect for her, because I have a ton of respect for her, I met with her, and I'm like, I'll probably get a free drink out of it. So little did I know how many drinks I would get out of that. But no, it's been a great experience, and especially in a market like this, which is super insane from my understanding. You know, two and a half years into it. I don't have a ton of experience, but it's crazy. I mean, we're on call. I don't want to be the reason one of my buyers doesn't get a house, so I will drop everything.
Stuff's selling so fast. You gotta be ready
so
to
it's
go.
nice to have their support, because if I'm heading to St. Louis to see my son play baseball, I don't want to have to turn around on the highway. So one of them will jump in and help out, and it's just really great. I highly recommend it. Not
So-
all teams are built the same, though. I will say that.
Yeah, got to find the right fit with any team, And I think it's the same way, we're trying to hire people right now, and anytime I interview someone, I just really go off the vibe. I just hired someone the other day, and I was just kind of talking to him for a minute, and then I was just like, "You a good person? You work hard?" I was like, "You like what you do?" You know what I mean? I was like, "You don't lie, you don't do anything crazy, right?" They're like, "No." I'm like, "All right, I'll give you a shot." You know what I mean? I'm pretty straightforward and I'm open to giving people chances as long as I get a good vibe from them.
Yeah.
So you help a lot with the admin. You said, are you also a licensed realtor though?
Yes.
But you just focus more on that side of things, or?
I like the admin side a lot. MT unfortunately passed away, so that kind of took me in the direction of having to care more about doing individual sales than an admin side, because obviously I didn't have someone to do the admin for. And then I had gone back to doing admin and selling, and now I am doing the same. I'm admin and selling, and I prefer to do both. By all means, family and friends, you should always help them. So if you're licensed, that's your number one goal, at least for me. I feel like we ultimately, as a team, need to do great sales. And so I would rather promote the team as a whole than myself. And I would personally like to only help my family and friends.
Yeah.
But through family and friends, obviously, you make new family and friends. And so that's how it's continued to grow for me. But I absolutely love the admin side.
Yeah.
I'm a weirdo.
Hey, that's all right. Got to have somebody like that, right?
For many reasons, Sarah.
I know. It's okay.
So what do you? Do you think what's driving this like crazy market right now is just the low interest rates, or what? I mean,
Low inventory and low interest rates. So with the low interest rates, we have a lot of buyers. Now, the issue is we typically have like 3.5 months of inventory at this point in time in the year, and we have like a month or less. So you have like 15 houses for 120 buyers. That meets their criteria. That becomes an issue, obviously.
Is it not that there's less inventory, but just more buyers?
No, we have less inventory and more buyers.
Yep.
So it's a crazy, unprecedented moment where throughout the nation, this market is nuts.
Yeah. It's been really weird with the whole pandemic, how like they're the jobless claims or whatever the hell the slogan is, but jobs are down, everyone's unemployed or whatever, but it's like a lot of the economy is still thriving, like everyone's still making money somehow. I mean, obviously people are getting stimulus checks and everything, but the people buying houses, and
There's more money in savings in the U.S. now than there ever has been.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
So people didn't travel. They didn't do a lot of things.
Oh, yeah, I didn't think about that.
A lot of first-time home buyers, because the interest rates allow them to get a better home for less money, because money's cheap right now.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing, there was a moratorium on foreclosures for a year. I believe it's still on right now, I think.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So foreclosures feed the market. People that would have moved to Florida or gone into downsizing or assisted living or things like that just stopped doing that because of COVID. So
I didn't think about the foreclosure thing either. That's interesting.
Yeah, it all helps feed the market.
I was definitely worried. I have a rental, and I was like, "Oh my god, are my tenants going to stop paying me because they don't have to?" I was lucky though. It was good. They did struggle for a little bit, but I helped them get through it. We just worked it out. So I was very blessed in that situation. But I know a lot of people, man, with rentals that they're getting just screwed on that because of that thing, and I think they're going to extend it again, I believe.
Yes.
And there's also a catch-22 with the whole system right now. So we have sellers who want to sell, who are afraid they won't have a place to go.
To find the house they
Yes.
want.
Yeah.
Which my wife's aunt is actually like that right now. Like they want to downsize. They have a giant, beautiful house out in the woods, right on. Yeah, right. Well, it's right on the Sangamon River, but they just don't have. They can't find anything that they want. So
If they want to downsize to condos, I can help them.
Yeah, they don't want that. They want to. I mean, they're used to. They got a nice house, a pretty nice place, but it's right on the Sangamon River. It's really cool. I like it. But there's just nothing out there for them that would meet their needs.
We're having to be really creative. Not really creative, but it's harder to get inventory knocking on doors. If I have a buyer, they want in a very specific area, a very certain kind of home. I'm not afraid to knock on doors.
I was gonna say,
or
are
sit
you allowed to do that? Just like, hey, my buyer likes your house. What do we want to do here?
until they tell me to leave.
Exactly. You got to try.
Yeah, handwritten notes, whatever it takes.
Huh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Do we have any good stories? Any creative, weird sales situations?
They do. I'm learning them as I'm going.
Well, some we can't tell.
We'll let Deb tell one.
I always love a good story.
The first house I ever showed was downtown Springfield, and there was a naked squatter with a pit bull.
Perfect.
That jumped on me. I thought my face was gone. And no, the pit bull was friendly. The squatter was not.
Good.
So that was a little unnerving. And
I think my craziest is I had a rabid raccoon that I thought was a cat. When we walked in, I thought I saw a cat.
With your buyers?
Yeah, we went into a house, and I thought, wow, that was a big cat that just walked by, and didn't think anything about it, and went in like the other direction and came back, and in the corner there's this raccoon like standing up, like hissing at us, and my buyers.
You just ran out and left them in there?
Well, my buyers say I did that. I did not do that. I think I pushed them out first. I might have been faster afterwards, but
survival of the fittest at that point.
Yeah.
No.
just wanted to hug Dad.
I know the raccoon. Yeah, going back to your previous thing about finding the houses for those buyers, we are trying to get extremely creative on that, and to the point where I drove a neighborhood and just put something on everybody's mailbox, not in, because I know it's illegal, and just basically saying, we have a buyer, do you want to sell? And it worked.
Yeah.
I actually did have someone call me and say,
because they wanted that specific neighborhood.
Well, they're like, we don't want to list, but if you've got a buyer, we'll show our house. That way we don't have to list and not have somewhere to go. The buyer loved the house, and the seller was ready to go. So it was a win-win for both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
You got to
Man,
think of
what a
creative
weird
ways.
challenge. Yeah, it's like running out of product or whatever, you know what I mean, for basically. Yeah, interesting. How many houses do you think you've sold over your career?
Oh, gosh. I don't know that I've ever tallied up that number, but
Yeah, I feel like I'd have a chart going.
I think,
This is interesting,
personally,
number.
I can average between 70 and 100 a year,
Okay.
I think.
What do you guys got a guesstimate on total sales? What'd you do like last year? You guys keep track of that, right?
We
Like
did
how many sales in a year?
Right at 30 million.
Yep.
Wow, that's crazy. Do you know how many properties that was approximately?
Sarah, do we know?
Give me some statistics here. Come on.
If I had the computer in front of me, I could open up the spreadsheet and tell you.
We do keep track of that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
every
we have a
single week.
spreadsheet, so I could give you a count of it.
That's
But
all right,
I
I'm
didn't
just
know this
curious.
was going to be a question.
I come with the drill.
Didn't know
we
we were
did
getting tested.
we did that video for the real estate group of the like the Marvel style.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was
we
like
still
a
have
year
that on our
ago.
website.
Yeah, that
I
was a
loved
fun
it.
one.
You did a great job.
Yeah, that was a cool one. When they told me the statistics, I was like, "Whoa, really?" I was like, "All right, yeah, we'll do something cool for that." But no, that was fun. We were in conversations at one point with Mike, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mike, yeah.
Mike Busher.
About doing, like, setting up like a regular thing where I don't know. We were trying to figure out how to make it work, but basically, like, we would be a resource, and like 2 different realtors a month would be able to use us for like a video. It was something along those lines. We never really dialed it in completely, but I haven't followed up with them about it. It was like a year ago, but I always thought that'd be kind of cool because then it's like another resource.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, obviously, there's how many realtors are there with the real estate group? Do you know?
Now we just brought on quite a few new realtors, so I don't know. I would be guessing
170?
something like that. Yeah, pretty close. We are the biggest real estate company in Springfield,
Yeah,
and
crazy.
we are the highest producing company as
Yeah.
well.
Does so? Do you all use like office space there at the building, or how? Do you guys have office space, or do you just meet there?
There is office space there available if we want to just pop in and do something quickly because we're running by. There are a lot of agents who have offices at the actual real estate group. I've always been a home office type person, and because we are all moms or spouses and things, it just keeps it kind of more in one place for us.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to jump up and go somewhere at 8 o'clock at night to pick up a file.
Yeah, for
so
sure.
home office, we were doing that long before the pandemic, and it just works for us.
Yeah.
And if at one point it ever didn't work, we'd pivot. We could
Yeah.
make the change. There would be space there
But it
for
is
us.
okay. That's what I was curious. Is it like, so? It's like a shared kind of space situation sometimes, like in some of the.
There is some shared space, but most agents have their own individual offices.
Okay.
They lock at
Okay.
midnight or whenever they leave.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that feeling because I used to live 5 minutes from here, and now I'm all the way out in Sherman. So it's like it's not easy to just run into the studio
We
to
could
do
carpool.
something. You know.
I'm a Shermanite.
Are you? Nice.
Yeah.
How long have you been in Sherman?
2.5 years.
Nice. We just moved out there. We like it so far.
Yeah.
A lot of parks, and they're building that
Splash pad.
splash pad and the bike path.
Yep, very
I'm
exciting.
surprised there's not more development going on out there as far as houses. Maybe I'm just not seeing it, but everyone.
You
seems
got to
like,
get the farmers to sell that farmland.
Yes,
There's
yes.
just nowhere. It's like Chatham, and Rochester. Once you get out to a certain point, you hit the cornfields, and if the farmers aren't willing to sell the land, then you don't have any additional places to expand.
Yeah. What's
So
the
it makes
most
our-
desirable? Like, what's your highest requested area?
Chatham.
Chatham.
Chatham
Right now.
and Sherman.
Yeah.
I maybe because I live there, but I get calls all the time.
In Rochester.
Yeah,
Yeah.
most people come in after school districts. School districts rank the highest on their list of what they have to have, and then
Yeah.
we kind of narrow it down. Okay, if we can get you Chatham School District, then is there a specific subdivision within Chatham that you want? Is there a specific style of home? Is there, do you need to be close to this or that? And some people who come in are held hostage by their job, so if they have to be in the city of Springfield or they have to be in the city of Rochester.
Yeah, because don't they have, like, if you work for the city or something, they have some weird rules around that now.
They do.
Understandable, I guess, but yeah, I think that was weird when we were starting to look for houses a while ago. We were just kind of casually looking, not really planning on moving. But it was weird having kids now, having to think about that. All right, I guess we got to think about the school district, damn it.
Yeah.
Or it's just like, all right, let's just find a nice house that works for us. We actually lucked out, though, because my wife's uncle was selling his house. I was decided to sell, and we just bought from him. And he said that he had like 3 or 4 other people tell him that they'd buy it, like after he'd already told us that we could. So
Yeah.
I was like, oh, we got pretty lucky there. I didn't think about it at the time, but I love it out there so far. It's
Yeah,
been
most
nice.
houses are getting lots of backup offers
How much are you getting like over asking with the low inventory and everything?
It's challenging, but here's the challenge with that. And Jamie, she just stepped out. I would say she's actually working right now on her phone because a property that she sold over asking price, just under appraised. So the sellers are, realize that it's a really strong market out there, and the buyers are very competitive, so they're willing to pay above and beyond. But at the end of the day, it's the appraiser that has the final say. So, we can say, hey, Mr. Seller, we'd be happy to list it for a little bit higher, and yes, we can take an offer, but this may not appraise. And if it doesn't appraise, here's the scenario that you might have to play
They don't have
into.
the cash to pay the difference.
Exactly. Well, and a lot of, we have things called an escalation clause that we'll put in that says, hey, if you get an offer that's comparable to what we're putting in, we're willing to beat it by this much up to.
Yeah.
But even on those now, we're having people come in and say, and guess what? My buyer has the extra cash in case it
Make
under
sure it
appraises.
happens, yeah.
So again, it's getting very creative and very challenging as far as going in with an offer. And that's where, seasoned agents who know all of the ropes and things, and they have all that ammunition in their tool belt that they can pull out. We presented an escalation clause. I think Amber actually presented an escalation clause to an agent who had no idea what that was.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it's the benefits of the real estate group. We educate our agents to let them know, hey, this is available to you. You should use that as the team. We sit down, we meet twice a month. We go over different scenarios, different situations, different forms or something that would come up. So we as a team also try to make sure that we all know what's going on within. And it is challenging because not only, well, going back to the office, a lot of people don't have offices now, or I should say offices in brick and mortar buildings and are at home, because I will bet when you started looking for a house, the first place you started was on your phone or the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it used to be people would pick up the Sunday paper, or they look at magazines, or they had to reach out to you at an office. I don't know, Kim, you probably remember years ago when they would have an agent that would sit at the front all day long, and you'd take turns because you knew people would walk in.
Oh, just walk in.
And you don't get that anymore.
It's called floor, Deb.
Floor, yeah. And by the time,
What did you say it was called?
Floor.
floor duty.
Floor duty.
Yeah.
We're on floor duty today.
Floor duty's going away. I think open houses are going to be a thing of the past. It's very archaic. We never liked doing them. They were not safe. But first of all, why would you want strangers in your home? They can look at your home on the internet. They can do virtual tours. That's kind of going away.
They can have a private showing where we can actually watch the people who
Yeah.
go through the house.
Yeah.
And again, 1% of houses, that's all. 1% of houses sell at an open house.
Yeah, it helps us
Open
get
houses,
buyers.
I always thought were kind of weird too.
Yeah, it's basically for the agent to get new buyers, potential clients. But otherwise, we're not really doing any service by having it. And again, you can't watch it. Let's say
always
it's a
for-
busy open house. You can't watch all 20 people at all
And that's
times,
the
you know?
thing, too. Like I know, like when in our old neighborhood, when I would see someone like, "Hey, you want to go check out that house down the street?" Even though
Right.
we're not looking,
Right.
just go.
Half
look
of them
at
are
it.
neighbors.
It doesn't happen. So we don't need that building for people to walk into. And buyers and sellers, especially buyers, are so educated now by the time they come to us. We used to have that opportunity to have a really good conversation with someone, like, okay, this is what you need to do, this is where you need to go, this is what the house is about, or the house buying process. Now they come and they're like, here's my pre-approval letter, I'm already pre-approved, I know this, I've researched the seller on the internet, I know they're getting a divorce, I know that he lives down the street, I know what they paid for it, everything is out there.
There's a lot of
By now
information
it's
out
like
there
they
for
come
sure.
to us and basically say, this is what I'm going to offer, and it's done.
Yeah.
But don't you think, Deb, that we still have a strong role in the education of the process?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
But I'm just saying
Yeah.
what you used to be able to have a good conversation with has now really been limited to what you need to do.
Really, that's technology.
Yes.
Because now we can open our phone and just go county site, find out,
Yeah.
how much they paid for their
Yeah.
house.
Taxes, everything. Yeah.
Or they'll go to Facebook and they'll go, oh, that's the seller. And,
that's
oh,
what-
they're friends with Tom.
Like when
Let me call Tom.
when I bought the building next door, a lot, people would ask, "Oh, well, what'd you pay if you don't mind me asking?" I'm like, "I don't freaking mind." I'm like, "If you
can
it's
go to the county and find
public
out."
information."
Yeah.
But before I knew that, I always felt weird asking that question to somebody too, like, "Oh, what'd you pay for this place?" But now it's like nobody should feel weird about it if it's public information.
It will be very soon. Everything is
Yeah.
on there. Yeah.
How far away? So this I thought of a long time ago when they first came out with 360 when we were doing the VR and stuff. Do you think it'll ever get to a point where you just you bring your buyers in, you just put a headset on them, and you could walk them through 20 houses just sitting there in VR?
I thought about that the other day. So for
Because you have,
my
they do
spouse's
the-
birthday,
they do the
I got a VR
walkthroughs
thing,
with the
yeah.
phone.
And I put on the Quest 2, and it was like you were
crazy.
in the building.
Yeah.
And I
Try
thought to
playing a
myself,
zombie game on one of
this
those.
is it. This is going to be the future right here, you know?
Smell-o-vision.
Yeah.
That's true. You'll never know if they had a cat, man.
Yeah.
You'll never know.
You won't know if they
or
smoke.
if they smoke something. Yeah.
Yes. Good point, Kim.
Yeah.
Smell.
But I would think
you have to have
for-
scratch and sniff.
For out-of-state
that's
buyers,
true.
this
I
would be a
think
great
about
thing,
that.
though. Like, let's say we've got someone coming in from New York, and they
They're
need
like,
to
"All right,
look
just
at the
go
houses.
sniff that house for me. This one looks good."
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me
Exactly.
Just get the sniff check.
Yeah,
clause
Just go in and
on
make
there.
sure it doesn't smell.
Kara's going in just a little bit to take pictures for an out-of-town client. So yeah, they'll say, "Can you smell that for me too?"
Let me describe what I'm smelling here.
We play lots of roles, professional sniffers.
Yeah, but speaking of smell, that is probably the number one turnoff of a buyer.
Yeah,
If they,
understandable.
within seconds, a buyer has already kind of made a judgment on a property once they walk in the door. And if there's a smell, there's nothing that turns them off quicker.
Well, next door to us, there was a house for sale. And I'm like, oh, this is going to sell fast. You know what I mean? It's next door to us. This is a nice neighborhood.
Great neighbors.
Yeah, exactly. I tried to get a bunch of my friends to buy it, actually. You know, I was like, we knock down the fence. We'll have dual pool action.
Yeah.
Sweet.
But a couple of people I know looked at it, and they said that exact thing. They're like, it stinks in there. They're like, something smells messed up. And I think that there was an older lady, and I think she had dogs or cats or something, and just let them piss all over the place.
Yeah. No,
And,
nothing worse.
Yeah. So it sat for sale forever, and I'm like, I cannot believe this place is sitting for sale with this market. I was getting annoyed because, you know, we just bought our house and did a bunch of work to it, put a bunch of money into it. And, yeah, now we have some neighbors in there that, I don't know, I haven't really met them. I don't know how they are or whatever, but, you know, there's like a broken window in the garage that hasn't been fixed for a while, and I'm like, all right, come on, let's just keep this, come on. Gotta keep my property value over here.
You can't pick your neighbors.
Yeah,
That's unfortunate. But
I'm pretty sure that's what one of my friends that looked at it said. He's like, it just smells terrible in here. All the floors are going to have to be torn out and redone.
But some people just don't take our advice and direction when we meet with them, because we recognize that. And there's a lot of houses I've walked into that aren't ready to show, that should never have been listed until A, B, C, and D are done. And as a team, we're pretty darn good. And sometimes if I have a house or someone on the team, I'm like, come look at this. Will you come put another set of eyes on this and see what it's going, you know, if we're going to have issues. And some agents are just so anxious to list that house that I think they do the seller a disservice by not being more strict. And if there's anything, most of us here we're very honest, and we will tell you exactly what we think. And I think that's the way we should be. That's why they're hiring us, to give them our personal and professional opinion on what they need to do. And to be honest with you, more times than not, when I am a little more strict and say, hey, I'm not listing this house until this is done or this is done, they normally come back and say, thank you for being so upfront and honest. We needed to hear that.
Yeah. And we do the same thing. I mean, like, you know, I had a customer that had stopped our services or whatever, our monthly services. And he tried a couple other avenues. And then came back, and he was like, hey, I want to sign back up, you know what I mean? And I talked with them through it, and I said, well, here's what, you know, the price will be, here's what you need to do. And with us, it's always about how much do you need to make to cover our services. You know, do you need to sell? How many cupcakes do you need to sell? How many, you know what I mean? How many signups do you need? And, you know, some customers, they have to sell a lot of little things, or some customers, it's just one big thing where one sale covers our cost for the whole year. So there's different challenges, but it's the same way with us. Like, I've said to customers, like, talk through, I'm like, well, here's what you need to be. Here's the amount of people that you need to get to cover our costs. And this particular customer, he's like, well, I can't even add that many people right now. And I'm like, well, you should probably expand your, you know, space before, like, you start, because once we start doing this advertising, I can almost guarantee you that this is where we're going to get to, and you need to be able to handle that to cover our costs. And they just couldn't do it. You know, they didn't have the capacity to do it, I guess you could say. And he's like, well, you know, I appreciate you being upfront about that. He's like, well, let me work on our next step and then get back with you. And that's, you know, if I don't think we can help somebody or we're not a good fit, I just tell them straight up, or I say you need to do this and this and this, and then come back and we'll work it out. But yeah, but to what you're saying, you know, just, you're not helping anybody if you're not honest about what's going on and the best route to make them successful or sell their house successfully for the most money or whatever.
It's not easy being that honest. It would be easier to just say, okay, we'll list it. But because this is a very emotional process for almost everybody involved. So we have to be mediator, referee, psychologist. Well, the one that doesn't prescribe drugs, whichever one, therapist. You know, you're telling somebody their house stinks.
Right.
And obviously they don't know it. Otherwise they would have dealt with it.
Isn't
So
that weird though? People kind of have a scent. I
They
said that to
lose
my
it.
wife the other day. Actually, I'm like, do you think we have like a scent? You know, people have like scents you just know.
Nose
Not
blind.
that they're always bad, but you know, every time you go in someone's house, there's usually a little bit of a.
Yeah.
She's got our place filled with Glade plugins anyway. I don't think you'd smell it one way or another, even if we did.
Well, it sounds like our common thing, Andrew, is, explaining to people sometimes it takes money to make money.
For sure.
And a lot of people don't want to make that small investment of changing out the stinky dog piss carpet, using your words, which might cost $5,000, who knows, but yet they're willing to go on the market and make a $10,000 reduction after 3 months when it hasn't sold.
Yeah.
Where if they had just listened in the beginning and made that adjustment, they could have saved money. But
And time.
yeah.
And time.
And
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I use that exact slogan all the time. Like, it takes money to make money, man.
Yeah, definitely.
But who would not spend, $1,500 to make $3,000 or whatever?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So that's what it ends up coming down to. Same with replacing your carpet and getting your house sold and moving on. My brother, he just this last year, he lives out in Seattle, and he spent what did he spend? He spent like 50 or 60 grand to sell his house. I mean, it's like $1 million house, but he had to spend 50 or 60 grand, like painting the whole place, refinishing the floors, and he knew he had to do it. His dog had scratched up the wood floors and whatnot.
And he
But-
sold quickly, though, didn't he?
yeah, it was gone fast.
Yeah.
Right.
And now he's all mad though because he's like, right now my house is probably worth like 100 grand more than I even sold it for, because he set a new bar for the neighborhood because he put that investment into it to make it the nicest, in there, and it sold fast. So now there's this new bar. So all these other houses that aren't even as nice are selling for like, way more. Talk about
And
it.
that's the other thing, picking those things, what you get a seller sometimes and it's like the roof needs to be replaced. It's going to cost $25,000.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
they
big.
immediately think they're going to add $25,000 to the list price, and they don't understand that
just
those
part of
type
it.
of things go with owning a home. Why would you do something that needs to be done and then expect the buyer to pay for it? Well, the
Right.
buyer's going to
Maintenance.
enjoy it, and I'm not. But that's not how it works. So
there's
there's
kind of
hard-
the bones type stuff.
There's
yeah.
hard conversations that we have to kind of, educate them and say, hey, this is just something you're going to have to do whether it sells or not. So suck it up and get her done. And
People ever get mad?
I wouldn't say they get mad. I just don't think they like us. It's like Kara and I went on a listing appointment not too long ago, and the house needed a roof. It has water in the basement. It's there's just multiple things that a seller's going to have to go in or a buyer's going to have to go in and do. And they
The
obviously
kitchen, all the
Everything.
bathrooms.
Everything
And by
needed-
water in the basement, it was standing water.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
So we gave them our spiel and said this is what we would probably list it for, because in this neighborhood, if this were completely updated, this is what it would sell for. You got to give the buyer time, room, and money to come in and make those adjustments. And never heard back from them. And then I saw that it was listed for like $30,000 more than what we had suggested. And guess what? If something doesn't sell right now, within 2 to 3 days, there's a reason, and
Right.
it's still on the market. So,
And it will be.
and it will be right.
Tell one of the
But the seller obviously just wanted to hear that dollar amount that they thought they were going to get. They aren't realizing that, yeah, you can go on at that, but you're going to sit here for a really long time.
And that's not doing justice to
No.
them, that's not doing justice for us to just list your house for something that
Well-
we know it's not going to sell at.
Yeah.
We're wasting your
And if
time,
you're
your
living
money.
in the house, then you're like are trying to constantly having to have
And
keep
these
it
people aren't
clean.
though. They aren't living in the house. There's no need
okay.
at all for
Yeah.
any of this besides greed, and
Right.
greed will get you nowhere.
Right. And we won't tell you what you want to hear just to get your listing.
Right.
We're very, very, very
Upfront, realistic.
upfront about that. Yeah, it, like Sarah said, it doesn't do you justice. It doesn't do us justice. Our sign sits in your yard. Our name sits there. The neighbors drive by all the time and say,
Everybody's
yeah,
spending money. We're spending money. The owners are spending money.
Yeah.
you
And
know.
our reputation.
Yeah, definitely.
If we overprice something, it looks like we don't know what we're doing.
Amen.
No. Well, I know my previous house I had to, or I didn't have to, but I did make the choice to do for sale by owner. because I just needed to get as much out of it as possible.
Oh my God, we got to leave.
But,
Well, it was nice talking to you.
but
See you later.
it ended up working out, but oh my God, it was a pain in the ass.
Can you say that again?
Terrible.
It was the worst idea
It
you
was-
ever had.
Yeah. I should have got more earnest money so the guy felt more locked in. There was just a lot of things where I was like, God damn, this is so annoying. And honestly, just with me and time, I should have known better because I just am busy and it's so many phone calls and texting and my wife over there, you know what I mean? It was just communicating with her and it was just
Hey, you guys didn't get a divorce, so way to go.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, you made it through it because really it is so stressful when, a lot of times for sale by owners end up using a realtor because it is so stressful.
Well, and I still paid
they've
the
strained their
seller.
marriage. They've strained their
Yeah, and I still ended up paying the buyer, what are they called?
buyer's agent.
Premium or whatever, buyer's agent. Yeah, so it was like the extra 3% or whatever would have been definitely would have been worth it.
Yeah.
But it I was under the my mindset is it's a hot market right now, just
I'm going to
get this
save
thing
all
going.
of the commission, and then the for sale by owner doesn't realize that.
And the person was
90%.
out of state.
You
There
leave
you
money
go.
on the table.
It was
Yeah.
a pain in the ass. They were in California, and I don't know, the guy, they do so much stuff. Well, as we've learned with the commercial, just how different crap is out there, but even on the personal side, like the stuff he wanted to do, and it was just it was not worth it.
Good. I'm glad to hear you say that.
That's why I said it. Otherwise I would have kept it to
Most
myself.
people go in thinking they're going to save the entire amount, not realizing that 99% of the people come. Why wouldn't, if you're buying a house, why wouldn't you use a real estate agent? You don't pay them anything. It doesn't cost you anything, and you have full representation.
For sure.
Yeah.
For the
and
buyer.
For the buyer, where the seller thinks I'll save it all, they end up still paying a buyer's agent like you did, 3%. So
And
the
a lot
buyer-
of times they sell for a lot less than they could have.
Yeah. So you've got one side that's represented by a professional and another side that's not.
Not.
And I think she was kind of annoyed because she ended up the buyer's agent ended up having to carry the majority of the
Absolutely.
work.
Yep.
So she probably hated. She was nice. She probably hated me though on the inside.
I think we're one of the few professions where you have to be licensed and go through all these classes and continuing education all the time, but people can still do it without it for themselves.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So
Yeah,
you
that's
can't,
interesting
you know,
thought.
you can't go practice law by yourself.
Yeah.
You can't do your own dental work by yourself.
Well, you could.
Well,
Right
you
to.
could.
I'm gonna have a very
think-
pretty smile.
True. Good point.
What's that you got glued to your
I mean, just like to the point though, you can't practice law. You can represent yourself in court. Would you? Would you want to? Or would you want to pay someone who
Knows
actually knows the laws,
Yeah, and honestly, if the didn't have the buyer's agent who set up the contract and everything, it would have been you wouldn't have that peace of mind that it was all right.
Right.
I'd have been like, I found this on the internet. Here we go.
Yeah.
Everything looks good to you, right? No, if I went back, I would just. Because then you're communicating with people, showing it, and just the time, everything. Geez, the only thing that did work out for us is since it was during the pandemic. My wife was forced to stay off work, so she was always able to clean the house right before someone came and looked at it. So that worked out a little bit, but it was also weird that time to be letting people in your house,
Strangers.
yeah,
Yeah,
with
I mean-
everything going on.
And then you have to hear what they think about it, which is
And who are
sometimes
you
never
letting
the
in? You
truth.
don't even know if they're pre-approved.
Right.
You literally just gave up your
Well-
house for an hour for someone who might not even be able to
Right.
buy your house.
And this actually, the person that ended up buying it never even saw it. It was all FaceTime.
Oh, that's even scarier.
Yeah, the realtor walked him through on FaceTime. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. Well, what's is there anything we need to get out there? Any kind of news? Anything special? Just need to get some inventory.
We need some inventory. We've even thought of starting to put for sale signs by dumpsters and potholes because we just need something so desperately. I'm teasing. But yeah, we are getting more and more houses hitting the market than there was previously. I think as the pandemic is kind of lifting a little bit and people are feeling a little bit more comfortable knowing that something might be out there. I mean, if you want us to, you couldn't work with a better team as far as putting in 160% effort to find you something. We're all out there looking for our buyers every day. We're sending out emails. We are chatting with each other, looking to see what's coming. I think I think it'll get a little bit better, but I still think it's going to be really weird for a little bit longer, just because it takes a while to catch up.
How often do you run into like buyers or sellers that are like weirded out about the pandemic and like letting
more
people
so
in
last
now?
year than this year.
It's laid off a lot now.
I feel like April, May of last year, we had plenty of sellers who took their houses off the market.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, we don't want anybody in there.
And we were essential services, so we kept working. I would say exactly what Sarah said. Last year at this time, it's like they'd get out of the car and they'd have full hazmat suit on and stuff, and you'd get to the front door and all the sellers would have booties and spray and everything, and now they get out of the car and they're like, do we have to wear this, the mask, or whatever. So it's definitely become a lot more lax and I think comfortable for them to shop.
I did a ton of virtual showings.
Did you?
Yeah. I had, for whatever reason, I had a bunch of out-of-town buyers last year, which was not the trend for our state.
Yeah.
But I did a ton of virtual tours. I also had a older demographic. Most of my clients were last year.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah. And we have, Ashley, we haven't really talked much. Ashley's in Taylorville. So we expand beyond Springfield, Illinois. So, we've got the Morrisonville, Nokomis, Taylorville. We go all the way Lincoln, Logan County. We go south, Pawnee. So I guess the other thing is to say we are not just niched into Springfield. If you have a house, within our MLS radius, we have the people to serve those areas, and we're not afraid to go there. We work with all sellers from all price ranges. We have houses that have listed for $13,000, and we've had houses that have listed for over $1 million. So we don't kind of also niche ourselves into a price range or a certain buyer or seller. So, between all of us on this team, we've got the fit for who's ever looking to sell or buy.
Yeah, we've done plenty of commercial. We've done agriculture. Hunting land. Mm-hmm. My favorite is driving 2.5 hours south so you can close a hunting land deal. While you're down there, you got to stop and eat and everything.
I actually have a couple auctioneer clients who would do a lot of land like videos for, because I'm a licensed drone pilot, so they would come out and do videos of the hunting land and stuff. Mm-hmm. So those are always kind of neat.
That's the best way to see the land, really.
Yeah.
Otherwise you're on the four-wheelers and whatnot, driving
Which
through it, but you're not.
Way, but
right.
That sounds terrible.
Well, when you go back, you definitely have to check for ticks, but
we've had to check for fleas too. When you ask about weird things in houses, I want to put another little pick in there for Kim. Kim also has a little side business called Home Quarters. So if there's any of our people who like to winter in Florida or who just take extended vacations and stuff, and they need somebody to come and watch their house, Kim does that. She waters your plants, she flushes your toilets, she makes sure that the pipes aren't broken, and starts your car. She does it. So that's a great service, especially after this winter when we had those sub-zero temperatures and people's pipes were breaking all the time.
For sure.
Yeah, so if if anyone needs that type of help, we have that side service. We help Kim if she needs us, but that's her gig. We don't really get involved with it. Yeah, that's her baby. So I just wanted to kind of put that out there because that's a service that most other real estate teams and agents don't offer that is unique, that is very helpful.
Yeah, that's awesome. Good idea.
She doesn't like cats and dogs, but she will do them if necessary. Not do them, take care of them.
Yeah, we thought Kim was going to be the first to get bleeped.
Well, we'll take that right out.
Bleep, bleep.
Wow.
Hide your cats, hide your dogs.
Kim's coming over.
Kim's coming over.
That's funny. All right. Well, it's been great having everybody on here. A little switch off.
Yeah.
Than's for letting us come out. This
Definitely.
has been a fun experience for us.
So anybody out there that they need some inventory, looking to buy or sell, they're here for you.
We are.
Strong team over here. A lot of them. We're filling the studio up. We're at max capacity. Anything else? Anything else we should hit on? Share? Am I missing anything?
Jamie?
I didn't
anybody?
ask my question I'm supposed to ask.
Well,
at the
for our
beginning of the
past
thing.
clients, we do have our customer appreciation party coming up, and we're going to
Right.
start sending out those invitations. So for our past clients,
Perfect.
the fun is coming.
And our VIPs.
Yeah, VIPs, recent people who refer us a lot or have bought from us, we will be sending you an invitation
Yeah, referrals are the biggest form of flattery.
Amen.
and reviews.
And reviews, yes.
Definitely.
Yes.
Yeah, I know pretty
Literally
much all of
flattery.
our customers is all referral. Like we've never like gone out and sold, you know. So yeah, no, for sure. I can understand that. Awesome. Well, I look forward to the VIP party
Wait,
in,
what was the
in
question you
Hawaii.
didn't
The question. I usually, you know, if it's a small business owner, I'm like, hardest part of being a small business owner at the top, at the beginning, and I save it for the end. I always forget. Ryan over here didn't check me. No, but I mean, you guys are all small business owners, you know, in a way. You're you know, own bosses and everything. What would be your feedback on this? Hardest part.
Hardest part is not knowing when your next paycheck is coming. And that, I don't know if you know this or not, but real estate is extremely expensive to just work in real estate, in addition to not knowing when your next paycheck is coming. So like a lot of people who know, you know, at 5 o'clock on a Friday, that paycheck is in their mail slot. We aren't like that. We have to work hard for every single penny that we get. And many times we work hard and what we think is going to come falls apart. So I would say the unknown and not having a guaranteed paycheck is difficult. You guys may.
Yeah. You have to plan. You have to plan, and if you ever want to get into this business,
Don't go blow
It takes
all
money
your money
first.
from your big sale.
Well, I mean, there's no way. I mean, the first year, it's going to be a hard year for you. You're going to spend most likely the same, if not more, than what you make that first year.
Amen.
Yeah.
For
any business though, small business, you know. I mean, I know I didn't pay myself for like 3 years, anything really.
Right.
But you made it work. That's the thing. If you like what you do, again, you're willing to take the time to invest in having a career that you absolutely love.
For sure.
Yeah.
And at one point, I got offered a job. Literally, the first year I started, somebody offered me a job for like $75,000 plus benefits. And
That was hard for you.
Think about that.
That's a lot of money here.
Well,
in
there's
Springfield.
the other thing too. As individual contractors, we do not have benefits. I mean, we have to, unless we have a spouse or you know someone who brings that in for us.
And that's a hard thing to figure out.
It's very hard to figure out.
That's
And-
why it
Expensive
took me
too
so long
nowadays.
to get in the business. I was a single parent for 16 years, so I was not brave enough to jump off. I needed a safety net, so.
yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of people, I mean, it's like that for sure. I know with us, when I ended up figuring out, like, being able to offer health insurance through the business, it's crazy the difference. Like, it's way cheaper than going on the marketplace. It's way better coverage. I'm just like, geez, everybody's just getting reamed out there. Because I was at this weird place where I didn't get any help from the marketplace, but it wasn't like I was making enough money to where I'm like, screw it, that money doesn't matter, just pay for health insurance. So I'm like at this balance, and it's like we were getting. I mean, it was going to be like, it was me at the time. It was me, my wife, and one kid. It was going to be like $1,300 a month for like terrible health insurance.
Shoot, it was that much just for me by
Yeah.
myself at one point.
Yeah.
It's hard decisions for individual
Well, even
contractors.
through companies, though. I mean, if you have certain plans, you know, we went to the accountant yesterday, and I was looking at the number as I handed it over. $17,000 is what we spent for insurance
It's
last
crazy.
year.
Yeah, and you're not even a bigger thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think small business too. You know, everybody who's come onto my team and I've had those conversations with, I've tried to be very honest and say, don't expect to just jump in and start making money and making sales. But I've always said, have a stop loss program or some type of thing in there. It's like, hey, this is my goal, and if I can't do this by this certain amount of time, or I've also said, don't ever continue to do something that affects your family or income on your family. And if it doesn't matter how much you love it, if you're not making money at it and you're going into debt with your family, then you have to make that hard decision
Right.
to get out. And some people, I know there's people in real estate that work it just to pay their bills. They probably don't make anything, but they just can't give it up. So
Yeah.
It's addictive
yeah.
if you like to win.
I know, like what I was doing, I would always, you know, for those first few years, I would always, it was always on the side doing stuff. You know, I was going out to garage sales, buying stuff, selling it online, and I, you know, make pretty good money doing it. But again, it's like I didn't have kids at the time, so I could do that. But with kids and everything, it's like, you know, you got to spend time with your family too.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's
All your
hard.
changes,
yeah,
you know.
for sure.
Yeah.
Awesome. Any other major challenges anybody want to add to the?
Mine is because you get really involved with people either at the best time of their life, they're buying a home, their first home, or they're upgrading to the dream home, or at one of the worst times of their life, divorce. Unfortunately, divorce is good for business, but it's not. So I get emotionally connected with most of my clients. I want to be best friends with all of them. So it's hard for me to kind of separate that and not get involved.
Right. I can understand that for sure.
Probably not anybody else has that problem, I'm guessing.
We do. We
I
do.
mean, we tend to become friends with our clients, of course.
Yes.
You know, the emotions of the process of buying and selling, we have to be good about trying to keep their emotions, you know,
Even.
not getting the best of them, where they don't make the best decisions in their best interests because of the emotions.
Yeah.
You know, but afterwards, I can say that we all have become friends with our clients, and we continue to see our clients outside of any work deal or anything beyond the deal, you know.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely.
All right. Anybody else? Challenge? Hardest part? They nailed them. All right. Well, what's your website? Deb Sarsany Team or Deb?
Yep,
DebSarsanyTeam.com.
Mm-hmm. We
All
also
right.
have a Facebook page.
Yeah, we'll link all the social media and website below to all this. And this will be available pretty much everywhere.
Awesome.
All right,
Awesome.
I'm dropping the stream. Thanks so much for coming on
thanks
today.
for
Thank
having
you.
It
us.
was
Thank
awesome.
you.
It was
very
fun.
informational.
Thanks for making it so relaxing.
always a conversation. All right, thanks for joining us, everybody. We will try to get back to our regular weekly. We got some people lined up. It's just we've been swamped lately with the new building and some new customers coming on, stuff like that. So unfortunately, this went to the wayside. But we will be back, and I am going to try to make up for the weeks because I have a goal and I want to hit that goal. Until next time, thank you for listening and watching.